Just start out on a yawn. Good
I'm sorry.
job. I love that for us. Okay.
Hey y'all, I'm Erica, and this is... Nope, you're just fucking it up, and now you're blurry
Yep.
as hell.
All right. Hi. I am Cody,
Why are
and
you a robot?
that was Erica. I am human. I is human. Yes. Hello. Yeah, I already said that. I
Oh,
am Cody, and that is
are we
Erica. Yes.
are we doing fake introductions? Hi, I'm Erica, and I'll have to pee perpetually. Like,
I am Cody, and I am not a robot. I don't know. Sure, I don't pee perpetually.
you
I
should
am
try it.
underhydrated. I am underhydrated. The exact opposite of hydrated, if you did not know how prefixes work. Because apparently we don't, because unarticulate. Look at that branch right there. I did a great job. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, yes, facepalm for me. Anyway, so hello, welcome to our podcast. And that's all I got. It was nice to see you all next week.
We'll see ourselves out now.
Yes. Why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself, Erica?
I don't want to. Why don't...
Okay. Tell me. I know, right?
Ah!
No, what do you do? Who are you? Where are you from?
Where am
Yeah.
I from? I'm from Mars. And I have relatives that are probably in one of the rings of Saturn. And that's me. That's Erica. Hi.
I
Your
don't even
turn.
know how to follow up on that. So now we're definitely telling the exact truth and only the truth. So now I am aware that I am actually a platypus from Argentina.
Good.
And my sister is a squid.
How's that work out?
I'm also not a platypus, so your question, I don't know the relevancy for the entire story, if it actually matters.
Come on now.
All right.
Listen, we are two English majors. We were English majors. We were two English majors that are creating a podcast of a word that doesn't actually exist.
It kind of exists, but it doesn't exist. You're right. I think what's most important about what our title is being unarticulate, aka inarticulate, is the fact that as two people who are, I almost said super educated, but I mean we're moderately educated, right?
Yeah.
Being two people that are educated in English, as in literature, uh, syntax, grammar, all that good stuff. We were educated in all of that. I'm not. I can't speak very well. And I've done all the public speaking. I've done all of the. I've done the podcast thing before. I've done all this, and I can't speak, and I have no ground to stand on. So I'm assuming.
I can't speak.
Yes, I speak. I speak good, right? I speak well. And that was one of the things I would argue that makes our relationship so different, is that trying to speak doesn't work out all the time.
So now we're just telling people how we're different from other friendships.
Because we can't speak.
Because we can't speak, and I'm your dad.
So we're just getting into that? All right.
Yeah. Yep.
So why are you my dad?
I don't know how it all started. But there was one day, because you are the king of vines.
Oh, thank you.
Or you were the king of vines. I don't really know Vine. Because I'm just old. But I don't really know.
You literally
Vine.
said that I went for the king of vine. You literally called me Tarzan and then stripped me down to man lost in the forest for a long time. So let's try that again. Am I the king of vine?
Do you need a volleyball with a red handprint on it named Wilson?
Wilson! I'm having a really hard time uh, with the identity crisis that is, am I a part of Vine? Is a Vine a part of me?
Is
Okay,
a vine
so
growing
I
out of
was.
your ass?
I hope not. That'd be very bad to find out very right now. Anyway.
Yes. So,
Hmm.
um, from somebody who referred to themselves lovingly as Vine Trash, one day during my grad program, you were still an undergrad. During my grad program, you out of nowhere were like, "You're not my dad," and then said, "You are my dad." And then I didn't know how to react to that, so that just kind of happened for a while until I'm pretty sure it was like towards the end of the semester of spring semester where you were like, "You are my dad," and I was like, "Yes, yes, I am," which threw you off.
Yes.
And from that point on, I became your dad, and yeah, and now I have a tumbler, like a whiskey glass that says "Dad Juice" on it.
Yes. That was a good one. Yes. Didn't I get you dad socks?
You got me dad socks in Ireland. Yep.
Yes. I was like, I don't remember what it was that led to
World
dad socks, but I remember I got you dad socks.
World's best dad, and I think it has a Guinness
Um,
on it.
that sounds like something I would do because Guinness is great. Yes, it is. It is. They are the vines of the "You are my dad, you're my dad." Yes, and the "You're not my dad." Um, so that was the collection of them that led to. I thought what happened was I said, "You're not my dad," and you said, "Yes, I am," and I was like,
It might
"Oh,
have been,
okay." It
but it was
doesn't
after
matter.
you had called me your dad multiple
Mm,
times.
got it. Got it. I'm understanding now. Yes. Uh, I can see how it could be jarring for someone to barely react when you say, "You're my dad," and you're not my dad, to then out of nowhere be like, "I am claiming you as my own." Not
Yeah,
legally, of course, but like everything except legally. Like this is
yeah.
basically spiritual.
You make it sound like we have a cult
This is
of
this
two
is
people,
extraterrestrial. Yes.
two-person
You,
cult.
I, and everyone between us, which is no
Oh
one.
God,
Well, between where we are geographically, there are a lot of people. So the religion where you are my father, there's a lot of people between us.
are we bringing our editor into this? Like, is Nick a part of our cult now?
Uh, audio engineer. If we want to use
He
fancy terms, we could call Nick our audio engineer. Yes, sure. He is now a part of our. He is my employee uh, outside of the podcast. So let's go with he is a follower, an
Nick, who barely
affiliate.
knows me.
Yes, good stuff.
We just met. It's fine.
Yeah. Hey, we're gonna use this new program to record everything, and I'm gonna fail at sending things timely. So good luck being in a room together. Bye.
Yep,
And that is how you met Nick.
and that's how I met Nick.
Yes.
And then he phased out.
Yep. There he went. Bye bye. There he goes. See you, Nick. You can't see. He's not here. He's not in
Oh,
my apartment. That'd be weird.
we'll bring Nick on eventually.
Oh, Nick.
But yeah. So how are you? What's new?
Yeah.
Tell me some things.
I don't know what is new. Um. Oh gosh. How far do I go in about work stuff? I feel like everyone's miserable. I feel like I've gotten to the point of like I was doing fine. I was like the world can't stop me, COVID can't stop me. We're going to just be great. And then now I'm just like I'm like I need to be in the office in 10 minutes. Now it's 5 minutes. Now I'm a minute late and I haven't gotten out of bed. That's where I've gotten.
That's fair.
And if yeah,
I
I'm not sure. Yeah.
I was there and then took vacation because self-care is important. And then had some really comedically funny conversations with my therapist. And started this new obsession with watching all of the Marvel movies. And my obsession with Marvel, that's just not healthy right now. And that's inspired me to do Marvel makeup, which hooray, because I love
Yeah.
makeup. It's my favorite thing. So yeah, so that's like the path that I'm on right now because it's all because it's all because I might have a weird obsession or just like love interest. It's fine. Whatever. We'll call a duck a duck. It's an obsession. But I have a weird obsession with Bucky Barnes, Winter Soldier.
Yes. Yes, you do.
I do. It's bad. I Gino is my therapist and I we were talking and there's so many
Yeah.
there are TikToks out there who are like if you if you have a crush on these people, you need to seek therapy immediately. And it's always Bucky Barnes and Kylo Ren. And I told Gino about this. I was like, Gino, I need to talk to you about this because I think I might be messed up in the head. And he was like, okay. And we had this conversation and then we both kind of nerded out about just superhero things. And then he was like, no, we're always fascinated by like interesting characters and they both are interesting characters with interesting story arcs. And it was like, true. And they're not terrible. They just initially were not the best. Um so yeah, so my love of Bucky Barnes is just it's a thing right now and it'll pass eventually or not.
Right.
Who knows?
So now the question is it Bucky Barnes or is it Sebastian Stan?
Oh, it's totally Bucky Barnes. I would be
Okay.
best friends with Sebastian Stan. I think he is hilarious. It's totally
Okay.
Bucky Barnes.
Got it.
He could punch me and I would be like, "Thank you."
Bucky or Sebastian?
Bucky.
Okay. If Sebastian
Mechanical
punched
arm
you,
and
it'd be like,
everything.
we can't be friends. We're not friends
Like,
anymore,
we're
Sebastian.
not
You
friends
can't
anymore.
punch me. No punching, Sebastian.
No, get
I think
out.
that would be an appropriate time to say you're not my dad.
That would be. That would be
I
because
mean,
I
I guess
think
if
he's
Sebastian Stan was.
how old is he in real life? I don't even know.
I feel like everyone other than Elizabeth Olsen has to be 30 plus.
Well, and Tom Holland.
Elizabeth
Tom
Olsen.
Holland is
Oh
young
yeah, I
too.
forgot he's a yeah.
He's
He's a
in his
little
20s.
baby.
Hmm.
Yes. I'm pretty sure he and I are the same age. Possibly not.
I don't know because I don't know how old they are.
I don't know.
But like speaking of Elizabeth Olsen, WandaVision.
Yeah. I know. Uh I need so at the time of recording, this is now March 3rd, aka Wednesday, aka 2 days before the finale of WandaVision. And one thing that Erica and I have been swooning over these past what is it, seven episodes, so 7 weeks, maybe 8 weeks. I forget how many episodes there are. Um my God, WandaVision.
Ah,
Yes. Yes.
yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong. You were not that you weren't into Marvel. It was you haven't gotten back into Marvel until watching WandaVision, right?
So so I a long time ago, when Iron Man first came out, was like, let me go watch Iron Man. And then Iron Man was always on. All of the Iron and whoa,
Mm-hmm.
can't talk right now. Doing hot girl shit. Anyway, but all of the Iron Mans were always on TV, perpetually
Mm-hmm.
on TV, all through undergrad. Um, and then and then I watched the Avengers with some friends. Like I'm pretty sure I went to the theaters in undergrad to watch the Avengers. And then after that I was like this is it's another superhero grouping of things, whatever. I'm not interested. I'm not going to jump on this bandwagon. Um and then when Endgame was coming out, the person I was seeing at the time, I was like, "Let me get us tickets to go watch Endgame." And then he was like, "Have you seen the other movies?" And I was like, "Nope." um, so I ended up watching Infinity War beforehand because he's like, "You need to watch this," or because this isn't going to
Right.
make any sense. Um, watched Endgame, watched Infinity War, watched Endgame. Was like, "This is not bad. This is interesting." Still like not fully on board because at that point in time, my passion and love and obsession was Game of Thrones, and Game of Thrones was in its final season. Yeah, was in its final season. Um, so after that, I just kind of like wrote it out and was like, "This is all right, whatever." And then what happened? Because I watched part. on the flight to Ireland, I had watched part of Doctor Strange, fell asleep, and then never got to watch the rest of it. Love Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange might be one of my favorite movies in the franchise. Really
I
love Doctor
agree.
Strange. Ah, love him. But
The Benedicts did very well.
yes, they did.
Yes,
That's
if you didn't know, Benedict Cumberbatch is Doctor Strange, and then Benedict Wong plays Wong.
yeah. I love it. I love it
Yes.
so much. Um, so that was kind of my journey with Marvel, and then I don't know what recently. Oh, back in November. So I was really hype about Black Widow coming out, and then COVID happened,
Oh,
and
right.
Black Widow didn't come out. But it put me on. So I'm a big sucker for movie soundtracks and movie scores. Some of them make me
Oh,
very emotional. It's fine. Any type of like beautiful instrumental score
mm-hmm.
could make me cry. Whatever.
Yes.
It's because that's normal. That's a normal thing to feel. Um, so I had really dove into the Black Widow soundtrack, or like the instrumental version that's in the trailer, which then led to the Winter Soldier sound, like the Winter Soldier's theme.
Right.
So then I ended up watching the Winter Soldier, Captain America,
Right.
the Winter Soldier, and after that watched Civil War and Age of Ultron, and was like, oh, let me get back into this, and that's when I fell in love with Bucky Barnes.
Yes.
Psychopath, murderer, rampage. His whole mind is fucked up.
Right. I was gonna
Spoilers.
say, I think it,
If you haven't watched any of this,
right.
there are going to be so many spoilers. Skip all of this. Sorry.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, I was gonna say, I think maybe what it was too is the idea that when Disney was announcing all of these shows that to come to Disney Plus, there was probably that Falcon and the Winter Soldier um, show being announced that was like, hey, let's do this. Not sure,
I don't think so
but
because I only recently saw Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which I am totally hyped for. But we all know why.
uh, I mean, yeah, I am excited. The part that I'm hesitant about is again that means that WandaVision's coming to a close. Um, a lot of people have been critical of WandaVision based on now to get back into WandaVision. A lot of people were criticizing the first, I believe, the first 3 episodes or so that it was the just because of like following through the 60s 70s 80s like that type of concept of the whole, or I guess 50s 60s 70s whatever it was, of just having those like tropes and story arcs and stuff like that, that it was almost unoriginal, when really it was just a great way of setting up. And again, I think it's unfair to give a full perspective until you've seen the whole thing, because there's a lot of setup that needs to happen. Going off on a different page, that's what I feel about a lot of what's the director's name? I think his name is Ari Aster, maybe the man who produced and directed and did all the things for Hereditary and Midsummer. Like, Homeboy makes very long movies that take some time to set up, but it's the payoff in the end. And I feel like WandaVision right now, again, at time of this recording, we are now at the place where episode 8, we're waiting on the finale. I feel like WandaVision just people needed to not criticize until they saw episode 4, and then we got into this good stuff.
Yeah.
So good.
Well, and there's a lot of the first 3 episodes setting up for pause.
Hello, this is editor Nick here to say that there are spoilers for WandaVision ahead. If you don't want to hear the spoilers, please skip to 24 minutes and 10 seconds. Thank you.
So I think a lot of it was really good setup for the like this most recent episode. I have episode 7, where you get all the flashbacks of Wanda's trauma and Wanda's childhood and like who she is as a person and her where she came from and where her powers came from, and just that, oh
Right.
my gosh, I think about that, just that heartbreaking speech that Vision gives her, which is
Right.
also just utterly beautiful. Like it's really well written, where he's just like, yeah, I've never known loss, but what is grieving except a persistence of love, and
Right.
like, makes me feel so much. I'm
Yeah.
interested to see what the theory, like, I'm interested to see what kind of direction they end up going with, because this could also, not to sound like a theorist, but this could also really set up the X-Men universe, especially with like the
Yes.
concept of Magneto being her dad.
Uh, y- yes. They would have to get creative with what they did with their parents. What I do find interesting is that well, first of all, Elizabeth Olsen, her performance 10 out of 10. If anything, I think there's some type of nomination she deserves. I'm not sure what it needs to be, but it needs to be something. I think there's a specific art to her acting, to the writing for her part, that is this character. We should feel Boy Who Cried Wolf situation with how many times she's experienced loss, and we've seen her grieve. And at this point, we should be at like an emotional plateau with her. Like, we've seen you cry 1,000 times. We shouldn't feel emotion. This is happening again and again between her brother, Quicksilver, dying in Ultron, like, and then losing Vision twice. Like, we should not have to feel with her really, or it should be plateaued.
Poor girl
But
can't get even
still,
like, she can't even get a
yes,
break.
yes, and the whole scene of her again. Spoilers if you're not caught up on WandaVision. The scene of her going to the home that was purchased, and Vision, saying that this is going to be our forever home. I'm getting chills just thinking about that. Again, this is not revolutionary in terms of what they're doing. Like, these, not that there's tropes necessarily, but they're not reinventing the wheel when they're coming up with these moments for you to feel emotion. But the way that they're delivering it, again, acting by Elizabeth Olsen's part, my God, it's amazing. And I've never seen, in my experience, someone feels or go through so much loss in cinema and you're still feeling with them. I don't watch Grey's Anatomy. I'm assuming this is what Grey's Anatomy people go through. Maybe. I don't know. But what I will say is I feel like it's that type of aspect of, like, man, this character's going through so much and I'm still along for the ride.
Yeah, yeah, I agree, because she even, it's funny too, because she even in one of the interviews was like, I want to see the future of Wanda be like for her to lose her shit, basically.
Yeah.
Because that's in the comics, that's what happens. Like, she has all this loss, and then she just kind of like has this mental break where she she's in control, but she's not in control, and there's just so many
Right.
layers to it. And I think her acting also gives you those layers. It gives you that opportunity to see deeper into the character, to feel like Wanda's a friend, and I don't want to see her upset. And like
Mm-hmm.
we I I laugh because I sometimes talk about people and characters like we've been friends forever.
Elizabeth Olsen is my homie.
Lizzie and I hang out on the weekends.
Yes.
But I just think that there's something kind of like what you said. There's something really elegant about it, and I love her connection with Paul Bettany too.
Yeah.
And he's just so talented. I remember watching him in A Knight's Tale and thinking he was the funniest person ever, and then seeing him as Vision, which is just such a starkly different character.
I'm not. I find it funny that you're just using the word Stark, and I know that that was probably unintentional, but Stark.
Get out of here.
I know. So outside of WandaVision, because I can go on forever, and I'm sure you can too. What other things are you watching? What are you doing? What are you experiencing?
So, oh
Thousands
my
of
god.
questions all at once.
Yeah, so there's a podcast that's called Scare You to Sleep Whoa. My voice just cracked like I'm going through puberty.
Hello, this is the
Hello.
Scary Podcast.
But it's the Scare You to Sleep podcast, and her name is Shelby, and she has a very soothing voice. The podcast is beautifully done, and a lot of it's just kind of storytelling. But she has um, this section called, or it's not. I don't remember what the title of the section is. I'm doing this such an injustice, but it's basically it's a meditation for nightmares. Um, and I listened to it, and I was like I clicked on it, I was like, what is this? And when I clicked on it, I was driving from my parents' house back to my house, and in listening to it, she's like, don't listen to this. If you're listening to this when you drive, turn it off. And I was like, I don't know that I want to fall asleep while driving. Like, that seems dangerous. And I also don't know that I'm ready yet to fall asleep to having nightmares.
I don't think you're ready to fall asleep while driving.
No, we're
Let's
not doing
put those two things together. Yeah, I don't think you're ready for that. Let's not do that. No.
Let's not do that. So the other day I had laid on my bed, just like in working, being tired, and I laid on my bed and I laid with my dog, and she got all snuggly, and I was like, oh, this is really nice. I'm just gonna lay here and pet you instead of like looking at my phone. So I so I put two of my headphones in and I put that episode of Scary to Sleep on and let just the nightmare meditation happen. And when I tell you, I don't remember any of the dreams or anything that I had. I remember hearing her talk about, like, walk you through a nightmare, like you're actually in the nightmare. But I don't really remember any of the dreams I had. I had the deepest sleep of a nap. Like, when I looked at my Fitbit tracker of sleep, it was undisturbed. Like, sometimes I will move around or there'll like be blips. I had the deepest sleep that if I kept sleeping, I would have been in REM for a long period of time. It was so deep. I was like, that's the best sleep I think I ever got in a nap. And yeah, so what a time. What a time to be alive. What a time to just get experimental. So I put it on again last night so that I could fall asleep to it again. Don't remember anything,
worked?
but I slept like a damn baby.
Interesting.
So if you want to be scared, or I don't recommend this, like I don't recommend it if you have sleep paralysis.
Because sleep paralysis, yes, that would be interesting.
Yeah, I feel like it would like fuck you up with sleep paralysis. But if you're feeling a little wild, a little freaky fun, go give it a try.
Freaky. She said freaky fun. I mean, if you have sleep paralysis and you want super freaky fun, definitely try that podcast. This is not sponsored, but we're gonna talk about the fact that let's get wild and out.
Yeah. So
sleep paralysis style.
So yeah, I try it out. I am always here for fun challenges, fun experimental things. So far I feel fine and I've slept really well. So that's my journey.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to be on this journey with you of talking about sleep paralysis. So for everyone who doesn't know, because I never talked about it and I don't know you, I was never really a podcast person. Erica is kind of the catalyst to how podcasts came into my life. And I would say, I feel like you talking about me possibly enjoying podcasts kind of started in a year and a half-ish ago, maybe 2 years ago tops. And I was just like, that's kind of not my thing. I don't like, to me, podcasts were the parts of the radio that made me angry. I just wanted to listen to music.
Yes.
And so actually a year ago, because this is when COVID happened, like a week from a year ago in terms of when it affected the part of the United States that we're from, in terms of like closures and everything. That's when I launched a podcast called On Call Rotation. Again, no experience with podcasting nor listening to them, but I just did one because that's smart. And so Erica has opened my eyes to a lot of unique podcasting as compared to what you might think of traditionalist podcasting, like specifically, I think it's Q Code, not Xcode. Their podcasts, such as like The Edge of Sleep, The Left Right Game. I really, really liked Dirty Diana.
I didn't listen to Dirty Diana. Yes. Baraska, with Cole Sprouse.
Listen to that one.
Baraska's really good.
So those were great, but specifically what I've been listening to now is it's called So if you didn't know, I work in higher education, and so I listen to the College Parent Central podcast, which is super, super tiny, and it's targeted at college parents. But I like to keep up with thinking of that population because, there's going to be parents for students, whether or not, like, they are parents, they're supporters, they're whatever. And I've been listening to that, and it's kind of interesting to hear the perspective of a parent when you're thinking about who's going to college. Like, it is the student, of course, but what does that mean as the parent going to college? And luckily, I don't have to worry about that right now. I have no dependents. I have no offspring. I don't anticipate having offspring in at least the next half decade, right? Decade, probably. So, yeah, it's interesting. Also, my favorite murder because I'm not a child. Like, yes,
my favorite murder. I love my
yes,
favorite murder so much.
yeah,
It's so good. It's so good. They make me happy.
yeah. I worry that we are eventually going to get into that self-helpy, like, listen here, but obviously more aggressive than they get. You're like, you need to go get a counselor. Get off your ass. Get to the counselor because you need it.
That was way aggressive.
Well, just wait. Just give it a couple dozens of episodes. We're gonna be like, this is what I learned in counseling. Now get your ass there.
I mean,
Like every parent ever.
I already did talk about Gino, my therapist, who I love so much.
What a name.
Right?
I don't know why there's no stereotype, at least from my knowledge, and I don't know stereotypes for counselors, but Gino would never be on my list of names to anticipate for a counselor. But I love that. That's fun.
Gino is the best. Yeah, Gino is the best, and like what I love about Gino is that Gino will let me talk and talk and talk, and I mean the normal therapist thing. But then like if I've already talked about something so much and I'm just not getting over it, he's like, "Do you want to get over it? Like, do you want to feel better or not? Make up your mind." And he basically calls me out on my shit. Um, which I need sometimes. Like that works for some people to be called out on their shit because it's like, "Oh yeah, yeah. I thought I was self-aware, but I guess
Right.
that was a lie." So, but he's like I also too can nerd out about things with him, which is just like pay. I basically sometimes feel like I paid for like a good friend, and that's kind of his job. Like when you think about it, at the end of the day, that's kind of what his job is to be that support system professionally to kind of help you through these different struggles and things. And at the end of again, words are hard. At the end of the day, I think everybody should at least try therapy. I think having an outlet that's not really a part of your situation, that's going to be non-biased to
Yeah.
talk through things is so helpful. And I like and not every therapist is created equal. Like not every therapist is going to work because um I've had people who've worked for me that have been like, my therapist was garbage. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds like a really terrible time. So it's just kind of like testing the waters and figuring it out and seeing what works and what doesn't work. Um, but I don't want to stay in this world of being too too self-helpy around
Right.
therapy. Therapy's
Yeah.
great, but if it doesn't work for you, then it doesn't work for you. And there's other outlets too. Give it a try.
Yeah. Yeah. I was gonna say I very much like my friend group and my extended friend groups to be. I think it comes down to two. In the same way, there's like introverts and extroverts, and there's a this or that, or there's the these and those. I think there's obviously different ways to do it, and I find a lot of serenity in decompressing with other people. Um, Granted, I now that I think about it, a lot of all of my friends have counseling backgrounds of some sort, so we all just self counsel each other, or group counsel each other, I guess. Um, so flying off of there, I just came up with some stuff that I have this wonderful game, and since they aren't a sponsor, I'm not saying their name because I don't like them for not giving us money. So
Okay.
I have this thing
You
that
woke up
there's
into
some
violence today.
prompts. I know. I woke. Yes, I am chaotic neutral or whatever those things are today.
Me too. Chaotic neutral, Enneagram 7, Virgo Sun, Scorpio Rising, Gemini Moon. I got a lot of chaos in there.
You said so many words
Yeah,
that half of them made sense. You spoke three languages in a
I do.
matter of 2 seconds.
I did. I'm not even into astrology, but I have a staff member who is so about astrology that they'll like send me things about astrology. So that's how I know about all of
I
my
mean, I was gonna
my
say you on TikTok, you send me astrology stuff.
sometimes when it pertains to you being a Leo.
Yeah, true. You're right. You're definitely right. I was gonna say, out of nowhere, you being allergic to alcohol sends me, this is the drink based off of your zodiac sign. And I'm like, why are you sending me this?
Yes.
I laugh every single time that it's like, Scorpio, this is your bitter drink because you bite like a bitch. And I'm like, what?
Yes.
And I'm just like, you don't drink alcohol. Why are you sending me this? Siri, you're not a part of this.
She's like, it's my
Anyway,
time to shine.
so I guess she was honestly the Leo of this situation out of
Yes.
all of us. So I was going to ask, this question says, I don't know if you can see it, but how have I helped you the most?
You
No, that's too
literally
deep.
you literally flashed it and then we're like, I don't know if you can see this, and then brought it away immediately. I was like, guess I
Good.
can't read today.
Uh,
Is this the We're Not Really Strangers game?
no, we're not saying their name. They don't deserve it.
Oh, it is okay.
But you're close. You're close. It does involve drinking if if you don't answer the question.
Is
If
this
that gives
paperwork?
you a hint. No, that's on my phone. Um,
Listen, I
what
don't
is
know.
some? Well, now that you're talking Zodiac, I feel like I need to ask one that's all about me. Which again, it's going to turn to you, but it's going to be about me. So, what is something you love about me that other people don't understand at all?
I'm sorry. What is something that you love about me? Me that some people don't understand at all. Um, um I'm sorry. It's not that
It's
funny.
because it's me. It's because it's me. That's what
It's
it is.
because you're a
She's like,
fucking moron.
everything about you makes me not understand anything about you.
I thought you were gonna be like, everything about you makes me nauseous.
Wow.
um,
I look at you and I vomit. You speak and I puke. I hear your voice and I'm on the toilet for days.
imagine that would be a terrible. That would be a terrible illness.
Seeing someone's face and
And
just
throwing up.
diarrhea for days. Okay, great. I'll have to add that to my Tinder. Thank you.
Speaking of dating apps, Hinge, which I thought was supposed to be a safe place, some dude reached out to me and was like, "Hey, I'd smash you," and that was it.
What?
I was like, "Oh, we're just getting really bold on all the apps now."
Yes.
Um, so
What a
yes,
I'm so glad that he saw your photo and was like, "That's a pumpkin." And it's November. Let's go.
let me smash.
It
Um,
begins to smash.
yeah, the
See,
bird.
now I can't. I can't. Yep, I'm just gonna be quoting other things. All right. Anyway,
So the question, restate the question.
so the
I'm so
question,
sorry.
yes. This is now a spelling bee, and I will use it in a sentence. This
Perfect.
is your only time. Okay. What is
You're
something you love?
getting
What is something you love about me that other people don't understand at all?
that other people don't understand. I think I think it's the fact that because you and I are the same in a lot of ways, I think it's the fact that like I mean this in a very loving way.
Oh God.
You are you are so easily bored, and when you get bored,
Oh.
no,
Okay.
but when you get bored, you're like, I have to do something to entertain myself immediately. Um, and I get that because I too just get bored in situations, but like the difference between the two of us is that your boredom creates expensive hobbies.
Oh. Yeah.
Yep. And my boredom is
Yeah.
like me putting a shit ton of makeup on my face and being like, maybe this is glam, maybe it's cosplay. I don't really know.
Just blur those lines.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
Again, yes.
but I feel like people don't like. I feel like that's something about you that people are quick to be like, "What the fuck, Cody? Like, why are you doing this? Why are you spending money on something that like we know you're gonna give up in a month?" But like
True.
you've stuck with some of your shit. Like you've stuck with photography. You attempted to stick with your first podcast. It's still you're trying to figure it out. You're trying to get more content.
True.
It's also a weird time. We're starting this podcast, and we're
You'll
both super
never hear from us again.
excited. This is
This
the
is the
only
last time. Yep.
episode.
Get your needs in now, because this is all you get.
Sorry. Have fun. Um, but you've started these things, and then like you had a sticker business for a period of time.
Yeah, I don't.
You decided to go back to school for a period of time, and then realized it wasn't for you, which I think is like
Nah.
you also in those moments it takes you a second where people are like, "The fuck are you doing?" But you're like, "I'm figuring it out, and I'll figure it out on my own." And then you come to that realization, like, "Yeah, that was garbage. I'm so sorry." I'm like,
Yeah,
"Yeah,
yeah.
we're here. We're with it." Um, so I think I just really appreciate that about you in the sense that your motivation and your drive are purely because you are so curious and so interested in life
Mhm.
and the things that life has to offer that not a lot of people see it that way, where it's just like, oh, he's being reckless again, or oh, he's being careless with his money or finances, where it's more of like, no, he's just really fucking bored and like needs some type of stimulus in his life so that
Yeah,
he can then like have like a fulfillment, because at the end of the day when you think about it, we're all just kind of looking for some type of fulfillment, something to make us happy, to make us feel like to feel better,
right,
basically to feel better about ourselves, but like not in that way where it's like I need to feel fulfilled. I need to feel some type
right.
of happiness, and this thing brings me happiness, or I'm going to try this out because right now it might be something fun and cool. Um so it's the striving for more, but also like not being afraid of a weird challenge even though you know
Yeah.
it could possibly fail.
Huh.
There you go.
Well, that was the most interesting 4 minutes. All about me. Thank you. The Leo inside me is happy dancing, I guess, or at least
There you
should be. Um, what I was thinking was, first of all, expensive hobbies are is a huge issue. So I think what it comes down to is I'm probably so lonely that I just need someone to fill my time. So ladies, please find me on every single dating app that has ever existed ever. I'm the one with the very fake platinum hair that totally should not be there. With the absurdly professional, thank you very much, professional photos for all of my dating apps because I take pictures of myself because COVID was lonely.
Which is also kind of funny that we're doing this thing now because we in your expensive hobbies minus stickers. I was not a
Mm,
part of stickers, but
yeah,
in your
stickers.
expensive hobbies, like I've been your model for photo shoots and
Correct.
things. So
You
like
are my river monster, and that
I,
won't make sense, but I'm leaving it here. You are my river monster.
maybe we'll post it on Instagram.
We need to have a conversation about how I talk to you because I've already called you a river monster, a pumpkin, and I'm sure something else that wasn't too great.
It's fine.
They all have context. You
They
might be
do.
missing some of it, but you are the prettiest river monster I've ever seen.
Again, could be posted on Instagram at Unarticulate Podcast. Shameless plug.
Yeah, I feel no shame. So what is something I love about you that other people don't understand at all? I think honestly,
Are you gonna say the exact same thing?
well, no, I wasn't going to say that because you don't have expensive hobbies that I can think of.
Makeup is an expensive hobby. It is.
I think the problem is I haven't seen your extensive makeup collection. I've only seen what's available in your current living situation's bathroom, which I've seen worse in X's. But the problem is that if you have a stash in every other place that I would not have access to, like if you have it all in your bedroom, I've seen your bedroom 3 times. One was because a candle was burning and you're like, you need to put that away before someone comes. Once was like, here's the update on my Game of Thrones uh insignia things in my room. And then the third time was, look at the update of my Game of Thrones insignia all over my room. So yes, I don't think I have seen the extent of the makeup outside of the little bit I've seen in your bathroom. But what I will say, I think, again, we can come back to the amount of makeup you have. I'm not trying to skip over that. You can talk to all of our makeup stands about your makeup. But what I was going to say is, I think what comes it down to it for me is and I don't know if this is something that other people don't understand, because I think other people do understand it, but it's the first thing that comes to mind, is that like um, the idea that you are authentically you, and even if there's like a slight bit of doubt that comes every so often, I feel like it's so seldom that it's almost overwritten quickly or written over quickly.
Just overwriting.
So like, right, like I've never met someone who has made unprofessional things professional. Like the idea of Disney bounding, like how you're not allowed to wear costumes at Disney, so you dress up in those things and go to Disney, and you make it a part of your outfit. You kind of Disney bound in your day to day. So I've never met someone who can be like, I'm dressed up as the Scarlet Witch during work, and nobody would know, other than maybe my makeup is a little bit more um, what's the word for like more natural, I guess natural looking, like your day-to-day professional idea of what makeup would be, you know what I mean, like what is it, shadowing eye, like I don't know what I'm saying.
Ooh, this is rough.
But like what you're presently wearing would be considered what I understand to be like the makeup expectation for like professionalism. What you have on now would be deemed as like, you can do this as casual, business professional, right? But then you're walking in and you're like, here's
Look at
my
Loki.
right, my Loki thing that I did, but it still looks professional. So I feel like it's the I'm authentically walking in my shoes and I want you to see it. Does that make sense?
I think so.
So if I were to summarize, Cody doesn't understand makeup. What Cody does understand is Erica uses makeup and fashion and wardrobe and other words to express herself in a world that may not that is the world isn't ready, but you don't give any shits about what the world thinks.
No, I literally come into spaces and like I remember when I worked in Texas and my co-supervisor had supervised the entire building, um, working in res life. So she doesn't swear, and I like props to her because she is one of the most lovely people and like one of my good friends. Doesn't swear, like I love that.
Right.
Because me trying not to swear is just it's rough. So in the very first staff meeting that I had with my staff, where it was my individual staff and then her individual staff in separate areas, I said fuck 3 times in that meeting, and they all like stopped talking and just looked at each other and were like, what is happening? Because we thought that this was a general rule across the board where like people just didn't swear. um but like today I laid on the floor in my office and was like, this is, I need to do this today.
Right.
um and I think for me to show up authentically in those places, um is for me to also help others around me feel comfortable either opening up or being like, so there's one thing about being the weird person at work who also doesn't do a good job. And then there's another thing about being the weird person at work who does a good job. Because if you're the weird person who does a good job, people are just like, Erica's kind of queer. Like, she's kind of queer. She's kind of weird, and quirky. And that's cool. And it's like, it's her vibe. Where,
Right.
like, it would be, or on the other end, it'd be like, Erica doesn't do her fucking job. And we can't stand her weird quirks. So I think like in me showing up in those places authentically, I've also been allotted the privilege to have that space, um, and to empower others to be in those spaces as well, because I think that's important. I think not everywhere you're going to go is going to be accepting of who you are as a person, and it's
Yeah.
definitely different for different folks, because I'm a whole white lady, so I recognize that I have privilege. I have privilege in that
I'm an
space.
entire white woman.
Yeah,
Oh
but I,
God.
but I recognize I have privilege in that
Right.
space where I can
Yeah.
just authentically be myself, and nobody's going to really bat an eye.
Right.
So in trying to be fully authentic and fully myself in those spaces, I also think it's important to enable that in other folks and like the people that I work with, so then
Mm-hmm.
they feel like they have a place where they can authentically be themselves, where they don't have to hide. um
Right.
and that's something that I've just striven strove strive
Strive, strived,
I've worked towards, because I think it's
yeah,
important. I think it's important to be able to, at least in some capacity, be able to showcase who you are as a person.
yeah.
So thank you. In my long tangential, here you go. Thanks for me not acknowledging the compliment that you gave me, but also acknowledging the compliment that you gave me.
I'm not gonna lie. In the past 10 seconds, that entire sentence you just said, my brain was like, No, I'm not processing what you're saying. So you got me until you said I'm going to accept the compliment you gave me, and then you gave and then the robot brain shut off.
Bye, robot.
I'm not a robot. And please, again, back to this idea of well, ladies, please go and find the fake platinum blonde person on all of the dating apps. Unless you're a robot, I'm not actually a robot. Please disregard the entire first like 2 minutes of this podcast because
He's secretly a robot.
I am I
And
I
he
am
shut
not a
the
robot. I'm not a robot. You're also not from space.
What?
Uh, you are
Say
not.
what?
No, you are not.
Do you want
Don't
me to put
confuse these people.
don't scare them away in the
That's
first
unfair. If we go from 3 followers on Instagram to 2 because of this, and one of them is not us, I'm gonna be angry.
Again, follow us on Instagram at
Yes.
Unarticulate Podcast.
Yeah. I mean, are you trying to plug us away? Is this
I
the way
am.
we leave?
I no. I feel like we have to have some more self-respect than that. That we're just shamelessly plugging the only thing we have.
You literally said, "Go to Instagram. We're done here. Goodbye." Which is just not. That's not very nice. So, well, first of all, we also have a YouTube,
Oh, we
which
do.
is Unarticulate Podcast. I think it's Unarticulate. If not Unarticulate Pod. If you type in the words Unarticulate and podcast, we should come up.
Yes.
Yes, and we'll get it right next time. It's not inarticulate. If Google, if Apple, if some of you are on Amazon Fire phones, like first of all, get out of 2013, grow up, get an iPhone. Like, what are you doing?
Don't get an iPhone, get an Android.
Don't let stop it. Don't let those machines tell you that unarticulate's wrong. It is wrong. Like we know it's wrong. But be aware that it's supposed to be unarticulate. Don't fix it to inarticulate because then you're just making fun of us and that's not okay.
Rude.
I don't know where that all came from. Long story short, are you doing all right?
Are you doing all right? Did you
I don't.
did you just shut down? Are you glitching?
It's all a part of the simulation, which I
Yeah.
guess we can talk about all that crazy stuff later.
We're also possibly going to have a Twitch account as well to stream
Oh
some.
gosh, yeah, you might see Nick.
Yeah, you might see Nick. We're gonna try to do a bunch of
Poor
different
Nick.
things. I know.
Poor Nick had no this poor Nick. He's a great guy, and I feel bad. Nick is basically this third person now because we've mentioned him more times. And listen, I'm a Leo, and we've mentioned him more than me. So now I need to take ownership of my, I almost said geological sign. My now I can't even say it. My astrological sign. This is my podcast, not Nick's. We need to not feature Nick.
You know what we should title the first episode?
What?
Where's Nick?
Where is Nick? I'm worried about him. How's he doing? I'll text him after this.
I was like, you're the person that's in the closest proximity to him.
This is true. This is true.
But I feel like if we have him as a business partner, like I should at some point in time have his contact so we can all talk to each other.
No, I'm gonna hoard him for myself.
Okay. Y'all don't need to be a part of our just executive talk.
True. So,
and that's it.
I was gonna say, I feel. All right, well, I guess she's closing us out, folks. Follow us on Instagram, watch us on YouTube. Send me money on all of the things. I have every single place. Wait, what? No, don't do that. Erica's saying don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that? No, I want your money. Please give me your money.
Don't.
I'm just another.
This is not groveling. This is just two friends having a time, not being able to speak.
Is that how did you just synthesize the entire purpose of this podcast in 2 seconds?
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you for listening. Please feel free to rate us and leave a review on wherever you listen to your podcast. That's the best way that you can support the podcast. And we will see you on the next one. Bye. I can't with you. I can't.